Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. So, as of Q1 this year, DC fast charging ports accounted for 21.5% of all public charging ports. This is from energy.gov, and as you can see, of the now over 140,000 public ports available, still roughly 80% of them are actually level 2. The good news though, over the last 14 quarters listed, only one of them had level 2 chargers, growing at a rate faster than DC. But the other 13 had higher quarterly growth rates for the DC fast charging ports. I do think the big three and UAW negotiations are being blown out of proportion a bit because remember, they are negotiations, so both sides are going to start as far apart as possible and then work toward the middle. With that said though, these negotiations will have huge implications for the years to come. Sources are saying that the UAW demands could add more than $80 billion to each of the biggest US automakers' labor costs over the contract's 4-year term. It would increase hourly labor costs to more than $150 per hour at Ford and GM. That does include wages and benefits, up from the $64 an hour right now. Those calculations are based on the UAW's request for a 46% wage increase, restoring traditional pensions, COLA increases, and reducing the work week to 32 hours from 40, and increasing retiree benefits. Bear in mind, these labor costs are just averages, but the $64 an hour that Ford, GM, and Stellantis are paying is already higher than $55 per hour at non-US assembly plants in Asia and Europe, and they pegged Tesla's average labor cost around $45 to $50 an hour. The thing is, Ford, GM, and Stellantis can't compete with Tesla on costs right now, and with their labor costs set to go up most likely, definitely not great for them. When reviewing a proposal from Stellantis, UAW President Shawn Fain called it a slap in the face, and on a Facebook live stream threw that Stellantis proposal into the trash bin. Negotiations are going great. I'm pretty thankful right now Tesla does not have to be burdened by these UAW negotiations. There's been a lot of chatter the past few weeks about the EV inventory levels on dealer lots and how there's just no demand for Legacy Auto's EVs. But I do think it's early and that this is a fair counterpoint. So we had one analyst say they're trying to balance having enough inventory and demand. There will be points when one is ahead of the other, especially for all of these new products where they're still gauging what the market's like. And when it comes to those days of supply numbers, we also have to keep in mind that most of the time in these calculations, there are actually vehicles in transit that aren't even to the dealers yet that are being included and artificially inflating some of these days of supply figures. Also bear in mind there are small discrepancies when calculating days of supply. For a month, you would just take the ending inventory for that month divided by the number of sales of that vehicle during that month, and then you can either multiply it by the number of selling days, or some companies like JD Power just always multiply by 30. My point here is I think it's wise to give this another few months to let things kind of settle down and see where we're at in more of a steady state in the future. Tesla Thomas shared a cool post talking about his 10 years of hiring folks for Tesla. Couple takeaways. One, he said the environment at Tesla is simply too fast-paced for these employees to just chug along, so they're always looking for mission-driven employees. I'm just guessing here, but I don't think any of the legacy OEMs have that mission component anywhere near like Tesla has it, and when it comes to employee production, I think that's a big deal. I'm not sure if this policy is in place or not, let us know below if you know, but he said there was a 1-year minimum in the job when someone was hired before promotion or an internal move. If you or somebody you may know might interview with Tesla, be sure that they know about Tesla, what's going on, current events, browse the website, because if you don't, you're going to be filtered out. There's just so much competition. And this is one thing I've always really liked about Tesla. He said he had people without a degree in his team who made it to senior manager because they were curious and had a savage work ethic, while others with a master's degree couldn't get to work on time. Let's drop in and see how things are going for Cruise.
Our first ride with Cruise went as planned, but we then invited a longtime driving instructor, Eugenia Borges, to join us on a second ride. About 1 minute in, our car was at a green light, but wouldn't budge.
It's a very safe situation for the car to turn, and it's just staying here. I'm not sure why.
The car eventually inched forward, but kept stopping.
We're kind of now riding in between two lanes.
Then, all of a sudden, it hit the gas.
Oh.
Okay, I don't know what it's doing now.
Our car drove straight towards the median and just stopped. picking up almost 2 full lanes.
This is not good.
Cruise declined to sit down with us again, but in a statement said the car encountered an unexpected construction zone that would have required several lane changes. The better course was for the autonomous vehicle to come to a safe stop rather than proceed. While other drivers cruised right past that closed lane, our car sat parked on a busy street for 20 minutes, causing a traffic jam for blocks.
To the Cruise team, I would just say, this is not a safe stop. And look, I know the transition to autonomy is not going to be perfect. We're going to have all kinds of errors and problems. However, there's only about 400 Cruise vehicles right now, so think about the frequency of situations like this if they were to ever actually scale their operation.
Their solution? They sent us a driver to get behind the wheel.
My latest tests show that the parasite is gone, so now I'm just addressing some lingering effects and rebalancing my biome. After 2 years of being limited physically, hopefully in this next chapter I can push myself again and see what I'm capable of. Shout out to AG1, the sponsor of this episode, for fueling my workouts and recovery as always, but it's more than just that. With over 75 vitamins, minerals, and probiotics in each serving, I get daily foundational nutrition for my brain, gut, and immune system. On the gut front, it has pre and probiotics with plant-based enzymes. It has rhodiola and B vitamins for sustained energy without that coffee crash, and it has vitamin C, zinc, and functional mushrooms supporting my immune health. And AG1 has biotin, which can support healthy skin, hair, and nails. I usually have mine in the first half of the day as I've been trying to limit my caffeine intake. I think it tastes good as is, but a fresh squeezed lemon can add a nice zest. If you have the means, try it out for a few months and see if you like it. There's only one way to find out. Check out drinkag1.com/electrified, linked below, to get 5 travel packs and a 1-year supply of vitamin D3 K2 for free. If you do, let me know what you think. Dirty Tesla shared an image saying Model 4 hardware internal driver monitor camera has infrared lights. In case you're wondering, no, this is not at all visible to anybody in the car because infrared is not visible to the naked eye. This will certainly help with low light, dark situations, obviously at night for driver monitoring or in-cabin monitoring, maybe people in the back seat. Those images and videos should be much more clear thanks to the infrared lights. Because it feels right coming off the tongue, the Model Y remains Germany's best-selling electric car now for the first 7 months of the year, selling 29.8 thousand units. Second place, combined 2 vehicles, the ID4 and 5 with 22.4 thousand. Paul M on Facebook shared some pictures of a crash he was in his Tesla, and he was told if the car had a normal front engine, it would have likely crushed him. This has to be one of the worst accidents I've ever seen, and yes, he's alive, he certainly has some injuries, but if he was in any other car, he may not be with us today. A milestone of sorts today for Germany as they have their first Megapack installation, even though it's just 1 Megapack as far as I can tell. This one will serve as storage for solar and wind energy, and it'll be a test platform for various grid applications, hopefully the first of many. We get an update on Giga Mexico, and as this video footage is showing us, there's some heavy machinery on location where Giga Mexico will be.
Esta es la situación, Manu. No hay un pronunciamiento hasta este momento oficial por parte de las autoridades estatales. Sin embargo, la maquinaria y estas imágenes pues así lo acreditan. Maquinaria que al parecer pues son trabajos únicamente de excavación, también de limpia de la zona, pero que ya pues hacen pensar que la construcción de esta Giga Factory y la Giga Planta de Tesla pues está ya iniciando acá en el municipio de Santa Catarina.
There hasn't yet been any official announcements. You would expect maybe a small ceremony for an actual groundbreaking event. Maybe we get that in the days or weeks ahead. Clearly, they need to get the land cleared before any building structures can go into place, but this is the factory that will launch Tesla into the next stratosphere with this more affordable vehicle globally. We'll take any news that we can get. In China, Tesla had filed a lawsuit against the company for trademark infringement. This company was using Tesla beer and Tesla soda on its products. Fast forward to today, Tesla has won this lawsuit. The company had to, of course, stop what they were doing. They compensated Tesla roughly $700,000, and they issued a public statement in the newspaper. Those of you in Illinois, there's another round of $4,000 off new EV purchases. This next one starts November 1st and will run to January 31st next year. Applications will be available October 18th, just a heads up. NHTSA has opened a special crash investigation into a Model Y accident where the driver was suspected of using ADAS. Just wanted to pass it along, but for context, over the last 7 years or so, NHTSA has opened up over 35 of these special crash investigations. It's really just part of their normal operating behavior to study this emerging technology. And obviously, if there are cases where Tesla's ADAS is at fault, we need to find out as soon as possible so Tesla can fix it. Ford's electric Explorer has been delayed by about 6 months. Now it's not going to be available until summer 2024 due to global drivetrain safety regulations. Just a little sign of the times, BYD is set to take over a closed Ford factory in Brazil. The deal is not official yet, but it looks like this will become BYD's most extensive EV operation outside of Asia. There's a new loophole that some automakers are taking advantage of. Volvo and Polestar have their manufacturing facility in the United States in South Carolina, where the Polestar 3 and the EX90 are going to be built. Now, thanks to this duty drawback program, Volvo and Polestar can leverage their exports of the EX90 and Polestar 3 from America to the rest of the world to sidestep some of their duties on vehicles that are imported to the United States from China. The program is designed to let businesses claim refunds on import duties and tariffs against exports in the same tariff classification. So this will allow Polestar to sidestep those 25% tariffs that would be applied to their EX30 and Polestar 2, which are imported from China. But they're going to have to wait because of a software problem that's delayed the start of the EX90 and Polestar 3 production until next year. I thought it was worth mentioning because as Tesla China continues to expand its global exports, we just saw Canada enter the mix. I don't think the US would ever enter that equation, but if it does, maybe something Tesla can capitalize on too. Don't forget, if you have the means and you're interested, check out AG1 linked below, get your freebies. If you do, let me know what you think. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.